So I'm gunning for an exclusive here with my next guest because I think there's a route back to football and playing. Maybe this could be the new signing for Derby County, because looking at the squad, there's a few guys who are actually even older, or one in particular who's older than my next guest on the League of 72, Liam Rosenior, the assistant manager of Derby County. You've got to admit, surely, with the difficulties you've had in terms of putting together this squad for the season, that yourself and Wayne Rooney haven't had a conversation about having another go, one more season, one more year. Am I right?
I think in Wayne's case, you're right. In my case, if you see me even playing head tennis or trying to do a demo in training, I think you'd think differently. No, I love playing, but I love this more. I'm really enjoying the role at the moment. It's a challenging role, obviously for all the off the field issues, but in terms of the job itself, working with a really, really good group of players, not just in terms of their ability, but their character as well. And they've really risen to the challenge so far. I've been really delighted with our performances, and hopefully the results will follow.
Yeah, I can kind of tell from some of the interviews that you've done that I think you're really enjoying kind of getting your sort of teeth sunk into something like this. And, with a lot of people talking about Derby County at the start of the season, there was a lot to kind of deal with, but it feels like, and I can kind of see it on your face, you're relishing the challenge of the situation that you're in and seeing it more as an opportunity than anything else. Am I right in saying that?
I think you're 100% right. I think through challenges and adversity, that's when you're really tested as a human being, let alone a coach at any level, when you have to rise to the challenge. And not just us as coaches and the manager, but I think the players have done that fantastically well. One thing we really wanted to do was imprint our identity and our style on the team this year, which we weren't able to do last year. I know there was a lot of talk about needing experienced manager to come in. And at the time when we took over, we had 6 points from 13 games. So I think from that aspect, in terms of just staying up last season, it actually was a success. We didn't play the style of football that we wanted to do. We were a lot more conservative in our approach, in the way that we approach games tactically. But this year, I think people were excited around the club. The fans were excited because they can see a real identity forming. And it's the way that myself and Wayne, we want to see the game be played. So it's actually even more enjoyable for me this season to actually coach what I believe, which is attacking football, having the ball, dominating possession and creating chances. And so far, I think we've done that really well.
Yeah, and that word identity is something that Wayne's used a lot as yourself. Explain that identity to me then, because I think that in itself is incredibly brave, for a squad that's had a lot of changes to it, for you to be able to kind of try and imprint that and it be an identity that is not playing safe football. Like you say, it's very brave.
I think that's the reason I went into coaching. I always wanted to coach a way of playing that I enjoyed and a way of playing that I think we went through a difficult time in terms of COVID, in terms of fans not being able to come to a stadium to watch their teams play. I think the minimum we can give them is the effort and desire for the shirt. And on top of that, for them to see football that they enjoy to watch, players who are expressing themselves, players who want to take the ball and play out from the back and be different in the way that we do things. And one of my biggest ambitions in coaching was to see a team play football in the way that I believe it should be played. And I've been really proud, even of our young players on Tuesday going away to Sheffield United. I think if anyone saw that game, they would have been impressed with our young players, not just their individual performances, but the way that we functioned as a team. I've taken a lot of inspiration from the very, very top coaches in the game, Pep or Jurgen Klopp or Pochettino and Tuchel at Chelsea. What they all have is a fundamental way of playing, an idea of the game. And that's something that myself and Wayne, we both have. And actually, we both in complete alignment in terms of how we want to see the team play. So hopefully we can build on that in our own coaching and managerial careers, and people can really see that in the teams that we work with.
Yeah, let's talk about that relationship with Wayne, because it sounds like you're very ambitious as a coach in terms of where you want to go with your career. And I can imagine that sometimes, some players that might have been in the championship could maybe kind of get beaten down and not sort of reach for the stars a little bit in terms of how you want to play. But some of the names that you're talking about there, Wayne Rooney is one of the greats of the game. So how has it been, working very closely to him and getting to know Wayne Rooney, the man and manager,
Yeah.
aside from the player? Because it sounds like maybe he would, I would imagine, have high ambitions and lofty expectations. And is that something you've clicked on?
And yeah, we've completely clicked. It's been pretty amazing because at the time when Philip Cocu left the club, we were kind of put together. Obviously, I played against Wayne a lot in my own career and seen him from afar and what an outstanding player he was. And it's interesting because the closer that and the more time we spend together, the more we're working together every day, not just myself and him, but Justin, Jason Piercy, the goalkeeping coach. We're getting closer and closer. And what's been amazing is how aligned we are in our approach. We're quite different characters, but we believe in the same values. And that's something that hopefully we can build on in the future. I love working with Wayne. I think we complement each other really, really well. And I want to maximize his knowledge by learning from him. I've learned so much from him in a short space of time. And I think we work together quite well as a double act. Believe it or not, I'm actually the bad cop and he's the good cop. So
right, well, that's what I wanted to find out. I want to know, so you talk about the characters of the two of you. What's your character and what's his character?
Well, Wayne is someone who I don't think is given enough credit in terms of how intelligent he is actually as a person. Is standard of empathy, understanding people, which is a huge part of management, and understanding of the game is on a whole nother level to what people give him credit for. You cannot have the playing career in the different positions that Wayne's had without that football intelligence. But even more impressive than that, when you work with him every day, is his understanding of people. He can read people really, really well. He knows how to get the best out of individuals. He knows how to give them confidence. And that's a huge part of his qualities that I've learned from him. You know, I'm quite an X's and O's coach. I love the game. I can talk about every different philosophy or playing style or anything like that. But what Wayne gives me is an understanding of people, and I can help him on the training pitch in terms of my qualities as a football coach. And that's why we've worked really, really well. But that wouldn't work if we didn't have the same values and our principles weren't aligned and our philosophy wasn't aligned. But somehow it just so happens maybe the stars have aligned that we've got together because we actually do work really, really well as a team. And I love working with him every single day.
And as two young coaches as well, do you think that's a benefit to sort of, again, not kind of dampen your feelings or ideas on things, just to allow you both to kind of run free with it a little bit and trust your decision making? Because again, I come back to that identity that you're trying to put together. You know, the way that you're playing out from the back, that's, you know, a lot of people would be wary of doing that. But you know, is it nice the fact that you've just been able to kind of run with it, like you say, been put together?
Yeah, I think that's been the great thing. I think as a coach, if you're not authentic to what you believe in, you're not maximizing your abilities as a coach. And actually, I'm aware that people said when myself and Wayne took the job together that we were both very young, very inexperienced, but so was Pep Guardiola when he took over Barcelona. You know, so what we have is an empathy in terms of we both finished playing quite young. And not long ago. So we have a real empathy with players. We know what it's like now to play in a modern game. We know about modern trends and the way the game is going. And for all the pundits that say the game hasn't changed, yeah, there are some parts of the game that haven't changed, but there's some where it is evolving. The game is evolving and changing. And I think to have myself and Wayne with his experience and his career and my experience, we're really confident that we can get the best out of this group and hopefully move this club forward.
Yeah, let's talk about the group, because there's, you know, it's interesting, you know, talk about Wayne's empathy and I think you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice as well. I'm sure there's real empathy in yourself as well. Although it sounds like you said yourself there, maybe you're the bad cop, which I didn't expect that. But in terms of the squad, I've got to talk about Ravel Morrison, because I'm a QPR fan, so I've seen Ravel Morrison when he was on a loan at QPR. The talent is undeniable. But do you think that someone like yourself and Wayne, being that little bit younger, has allowed you to kind of go, no, let's give Ravel an opportunity because the quality is there?
Yeah, I think it's two things. I think for the position we're in, we have to be really creative, one in the way that we play and two in the way that we recruit. And I don't think there's another player probably on the planet with Ravel's ability that we would be able to bring to the club under these circumstances. And now it's up to us to get the best out of him. And I think what helps Ravel is obviously Ravel was growing up at Manchester United when Wayne was there as captain. So Ravel looks up to Wayne, understands what he expects and his values, and Wayne understands him, which is a perfect storm in terms of getting and maximising Ravel's potential. And also what you need for a player like with Ravel's quality is you need to have a style of play that gets the best out of him. You know, if we were to smash the ball long, play percentage football and miss out the midfield, then there's no point in Ravel being in the team. I think Ravel's relished, one, being here and working for Wayne, but two, he's really enjoying the style of play because it fits in with allowing him to maximise his ability on the pitch. And I think he's got a lot more to go. In terms of his fitness, he's working from behind. He's not had many games. So the more that he plays and the more that we can keep him fit and get him sharper, I think he could be a real asset for us in this league for sure.
Yeah, and he's often kind of described as this, enigma and all of that. But as someone who's just working closely with you at the moment, what I did want to ask you is, could you describe to me who Ravel Morrison is as the 28-year-old man that he is now, as aside from what kind of gets pinned on him a lot of the time? Because people evolve, don't they?
Ravel's a gem to work with. We have to drag him off the training pitch every day because he loves the game so much. No, it's seriously, he wants to play all the time. We have to get him off the pitch. He's so enthusiastic, and actually, because the younger players of the group look up to him so much now, he's actually become one of the leaders in our group. Something that struck me about Ravel is he asked me about my coaching and when I started, and the fact he wants to get into coaching. But he wants to get into coaching to work with kids from the inner cities, to get the best out of them and give them the opportunity that he's had. And I think that sums him up as a person. I think you just need to get to know Ravel. He's honestly an absolute gem of a human being, and his love for the game is something that I've not seen many players have, and that's why he's got the ability that he has. Our job is to fit him into a team that functions well to maximise his ability. Because honestly, as a person, I couldn't speak highly enough of him.
Yeah, and I think there's some players. I remember, I think it was Santi Cazorla got described as having 4 feet. So like both on both sides, because he's using the outside and the inside of it all of the time. And I think, a lot of players want to be like that, but it's not often the case. Ravel Morrison is that player, isn't he? He just got such a beautiful kind of soft touch. And I think he just kind of needs to be, obviously, like, everyone's important in a team, but you need your stars, those guys who can relieve that pressure to just go, yeah, I'll have the ball. And he has always been that player. And I'm so excited to see him thrive this season as the man that he is now, with the things that he's gone through over his career so far. Let's talk about some of the other players, because if you look at the average age of Derby, it's probably somewhere in the middle. But if you look at it properly, you've got a lot of the boys who are, well into their 30s, and then some of the guys who are very young, Lou Watson, Lou Sibley, playing big games. Jack Stretton up tops had to come in. But I did want to concentrate on that centre-back pairing, because, you've got Stearman, who's got so many games at this level as well. But Jagielka and Curtis Davies, I mean, all of those guys, when you're kind of building that squad, again, I think it's a really exciting squad in terms of the characters of it, because, again, these are probably players that haven't felt important maybe in the last couple of years. And that now with you going to be very, very important. There's always such a focus on age. But how have you found balancing the mix between some of these older guys and the really young guys?
Yeah, I don't think we've had to balance it at all. I think it's happened naturally because Curtis and Phil Jagielka are two outstanding people with outstanding characters, and their career speak for themselves. They have so much respect from not just the players, but from myself and Wayne. We've involved them in tactical meetings to see what their thoughts are. We make them accountable in terms of having a say in the way that we want to play, because we trust them. Players are the ones playing the game. They have to go out and make the decisions. And Jags and Kurt are outstanding individuals who, for us, are going to be so important this year, and already proven how important they are in their performances so far this season. And it's really nice. It's nice for me to sit down on the touchline on the side of the pitch and trust the two centre halves when the ball comes in the box that they're going to do their jobs. Trust that they're going to organise their defenders around them and the midfield players to be in the right position, because then you've got coaches and leaders on the pitch, and that's what you need in any squad, in any team. You need people who take the lead on the field of play, and I think that's something where we've improved this season, is the characters and the makeup of the squad.
Because we've only had a few games going into the season so far. There's a very long way to go. I think everyone knows how the championship can kind of churn you up if you're not concentrating just for a second. I did want to ask you about that the squad at the moment is still pretty thin. And although you have that experience and that guile there as well, how are you looking forward to dealing with the adversities that are going to be coming by the long grind that is the championship this season? Because that is something that you're going to have to face, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's a few ways. I think the way that we are training the players and the loadings we're giving them, we're hopefully giving the players a maximal chance to stay on the pitch and be fit throughout the season. But even more so than that, I know that Wayne as the manager has a lot to deal with. I think if I start thinking along those lines as well, I'm missing the point of my job. My job is to coach the team, is to make sure that they're prepared as well as possible every single day. that training is at the right level, that the players are getting the right messages. And I think you have to work day to day with that and just maximize your time on the training pitch and around the training ground to give the team the best chance of success. So for me, I'm really not trying to focus on the future too much and just make every single day as enjoyable as possible for the players, but where they're learning and when they're benefiting from the way that we're working with them.
Yeah, let's look forward a little bit, not too far. Let's just have a look to the game at the weekend, the East Midlands Derby. You know, a huge game for everyone involved. And I think going into it, I think a lot of us would have thought, well, Forest, is this going to be the year that they start to kind of make that push? They've had a real struggle so far. I know you've got a lot of memories, I presume, with the manager there, Chris Hughton. What do you expect from this Nottingham Forest side, having been someone who's worked with Chris Hughton?
Yeah, I expect them to be super organised. I expect every single player to know their jobs and roles within the team, because that's what Chris did with myself at Brighton, and that's what he's done wherever he's been, whether that's been Newcastle or Birmingham. Chris is an outstanding manager and an outstanding coach in his own right, and it's going to be a really difficult game. At the start of the season, it's a form table. So if you lose 3 or 4 games in a row in January, February, no one speaks about it as much. But because it's the start of the season, a lot is made out of that situation. I know they're trying to recruit players and get players in, but the focus for us is to win the game on Saturday. And we are under no illusions whatsoever about what difficult game it's been. We've analysed their games. They've been unfortunate in every game they've played. They haven't lost by more than 1 goal. So we know it's going to be a game with tight margins, and hopefully one we can come out on top of.
Yeah, and these derby games, last year I think they just weren't as exciting because of course
we were all watching them
through a screen. Yeah,
you need the fans in. I can't wait. It's something that I'm really looking forward to. It's the first time actually since I've been at the club where we played Forest at home in front of a crowd. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think the fans have been outstanding with us so far this season, and we're giving them everything we can. And if they can be the extra man on the pitch for us on Saturday, it's going to make a huge difference. And but I can't wait. It's going to be a great occasion, and hopefully it's a really exciting game between 2 good footballing teams.
Absolutely. Well, Liam, thank you so much for joining me. It's been lovely to chat to you. I'm really excited. It's a real. It needs to be a movie at the end of the season with some of these characters that you've got in the squad, if it all kind of together. But I'm really enjoying watching it, and I'm excited to see your future as well as a coach. I wish you all the best, mate.
No, thank you very much. Nice to spend time with you. Take care.